Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Public Schools Robertson County December Board meeting. First of all, before we get started, I want to, everyone that's clicked in or punched in, say from the Board of Education Administration, I want to say Merry Christmas and hope you have a Happy New Year. We appreciate what you're doing. At this time, we'll call the meeting to order. Terry Lucklier is not here. He said he couldn't make the meeting. He is online. And this time we'll ask for invocation from Mr. Gentry.
Pray with me. Merciful and gracious God, we thank you for this another day that you have granted unto us. We thank you for your loving presence within each day that comes our way. And Lord, we pray especially that as we approach the Christmas season, indeed we are in the midst of the Christmas season, that we will remember the true meaning of Christmas, both in its literal form that Jesus came as a baby, grow up, be crucified for our salvation. But Father, we have opportunities to live out our salvation, and we've just heard one of them. We lift a special prayer for the people who have been affected in several states by the tornadoes. Lord, just comfort their hearts. And this is hard any time, but especially this time of year. And Lord, we do remember individuals within our school community who have recently departed earthly life, be with you in heaven. We pray especially for families of Jaden Hepburn, Debbie Locklear, James Dial, Nanaya Falk. Pray that you would bind up broken hearts of these families. Lord, be with us in a special way tonight as again, we enjoy the season, and there are many opportunities to do that even within this time frame tonight, as we will have experienced and enjoyed. We thank you for all who have a part in it, who will have a part in all that is to come. We thank you and praise you for all of this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Next item on the agenda is adoption of the agenda. You see some parts down there that are red from Finance and Construction Committee. They will not be making a presentation tonight. At this time, we'll take a motion for the adoption of the.
I'll move, Mr. Chairman.
Second. I have a motion made by Randy, second by Henry. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passed. We'll open session minutes.
So move, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
I have a motion by Randy, second by Brenda. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passed. Now we'll get to the information items. Before we get to the information items, what I'd like to take a minute, if we could. Wayne called me earlier in the week and asked me, the superintendent, and I did. And this time of the year, usually the last few years, we have contributed to the empty stocking fund, which is a very worthy cause, and we are compelled to do that. But this time, because of the tornadoes that struck through Kentucky and Tennessee, we sent an email out to everybody. We'd like to make a contribution to Mayfield Independent School District, which is a public school. I think they're in Kentucky. Is that right? Where's Glenn at?
Yeah.
Is that right? Take a picture. So at this time, we'll stand up here and we'll take a picture, and then we'll move on. You make your check out to the public schools of Robertson County.
Take it there.
We're gonna take the picture at, Glenn.
Back this way, we'll be fine. About to seal?
This way, no.
Don't amend together, just want to get your next thing. Hey, Mr. Craig.
Eric.
Don't mind that, that you look thin. I'm trying to.
So if we want. Yeah.
Real estate.
We'll just now be.
Yeah,
Let's go.
least we can do. Oh, man, yeah.
Later in December.
Had an article, yeah, for two kids, 2 years old, one was 4 years old, and they laid on the bench. Anybody have any other comments about that, Dwayne? Was any other comments about contributing to the needy, or,
Mr. Chair,
I know we're gonna send the chair, go ahead, Henry.
I don't know if we added it to the agenda or not, but, there was some conversation, light conversation amongst some of us about if we could, if it's legal, park a unused bus at each high school and collect canned goods. You can?
We'll look into it.
If that's legal.
So that wouldn't be legal, I don't see why do about what you want to, just,
That way it would give all the students in the county
yeah.
opportunity to donate.
Ms. Freeman, we can set something up through family engagement, right? So
Yes,
we'll look at that tomorrow and see.
And there was a list on their website, to Mayfield's website, there was a list of items that they were asking folks to.
Super.
Yeah,
Yeah, if I can take just a moment. I think, I've had some people reach out to me on wanting to try to help, with this right here. So, we kind of, there's been a lot of things going on, and one thing that we've tried to look at is pretty much right now what it is its needs right now more than anything. And I've had somebody to mention like pillows and blankets, because homes are just destroyed. I talked to the gentleman that I trained with up there. He's from Mayfield. And him and his family was okay, but his cousin was a casualty in the at the candle factory. And so he says it looks like a war zone up here. So I spoke with his brother today, and I told him what I feel like, we could kind of do as a as a community, to be able to help these people right here. So I think the main thing is the needs, and I think that's the most important thing, is finding out what the needs are. But there's people that are willing to give. I had a gentleman the other night, he said, Wayne, he said, I want to share this here with you. He said, think about it. And I'm not putting nobody on the spot, but about how many kids do we have in the public schools of Robinson County? Yeah, I know it's over 20,000.
2,000.
Correct.
22,000.
He said, think of this right here. He said, can you imagine if every kid would bring one can of soup? That's a lot right there. So, but there's people that's willing, that they want to get out and try to help. And we just want to make sure that it's not really a burden as far as putting so much on so many people, but we don't want it to be pulling this way and people
He's going
that way, where we kind of,
by the way.
kind of work together on it. So, so that's where it's at. And, I just know people are looking to want to drop off items and things. So, if anybody might have a suggestion on that, as far as maybe being able to, like we always said, like that fill a bus. Don't know how anybody feels about that. Don't mean to take a lot of time, but just would like to make sure we're all on one page here so we can kind of share. I don't mind telling you, I had Lumberton Nissan that reached out to me today, and they want to do a little segment about doing something and raising some money and stuff. And I told them, just hold tight. Don't, it's good that we're like this, but we want to make sure that, it's done the right way. And when this gets here, I don't mind sharing it with you. I want to go out there, hopefully to be able to not share any of the information that's there, because we already see what it is. But at least what we send to them, at least we can be able to see where it's going to and how it's being used right there. So Didn't mean to take up a lot of time, but just wanted to share that right there.
Chairman,
Wait just a minute. Go ahead.
Why were you to Vice Chair?
in talking with the other board members, I'm gonna check with our truck driver to see if he will be able to take the items for him, and I'll get with Dwayne on it tomorrow.
You check with who?
Our truck driver that took the supplies to UNC Charlotte for us.
Okay,
He has an 18-wheeler and he works with us well.
okay.
And if he's free, I know he will, but I'll let Dwayne know tomorrow.
And I just got a text message from Dr. Guzman. We can use the buses like we've been doing for stuff to buses, so that's not an issue.
Henry?
I talked with Ms. Weeksy Stevens, chairman of the county commissioners. They will be joining in with us if we approve it here tonight. And also Mountaineer Farms, they're reaching main headquarters to see what they can do about giving. And I think, talking to Mr. Dwayne, we agreed that whatever monies that we collect, we'll finish out a entire truckload of chicken to make sure that it's, that when they get it, they're getting something that they can be protein and nutritious for them.
Sounds good. Any other, Craig?
And I couldn't hear it, but when you was talking about with Nissan and if talking about having kids contribute, that did come up, right? Somebody having, okay, with our time frame, could we even talk about tonight about if there's somewhere that we could get the word out that food could be brought to, that could go from there instead of, looking at waiting until we come back in January? I don't know if Nissan would be willing, or if there's some place that items could be carried to at this time that would be willing to store. And we couldn't make that decision tonight because we don't know if somebody's willing to do it. But in the next day or two, if there could be some reaching out to find an area so we could get that word out to the community.
Yeah. And I think that's the main objective because, people might go on PSRC, but then again, it's like Vontae might have a lot of followers on his Facebook, and Jerome might have followers that Jerome don't have and that I have. So I've also talked about maybe reaching, I know he don't mind me saying this, Sheriff Wilkins. And in other words, just want to make sure we're all together in what we're trying to do, and that people give because of the necessity that the need that they're in right now. And so I think that's the main objective, is making sure that we have something concrete to where I'm assuming it's okay to put it on PSRC, Dr. Williamson. And then I guess, just making sure that we're able to reach everybody, if that's okay.
I think, yeah, it's probably Dr. Williams, when I talked to him earlier, I think he said something about Lumberton Senior High was do something, and we make it reach out to all the principals and like Grady said, the list, the Mayfield list and the items that they're requesting, and then they can make sure they get what they need, not just don't want to fill up a bus with stuff, but it needs to be necessity, like you said, so.
I will share this with you, and I'm sorry.
Are you fine?
Mr. Hammonds up at the high school has reached out to, I think it's a guidance counselor at Mayfield High School. And of course, they've been doing like the little change, penny, dime, nickel thing, whatever. And I think it was like when we were down on our luck, how we had other schools that came in and adopted our Red Springs, St. Paul's, and Lumberton, all our with all of our schools and stuff. And so that's kind of like, from what's been shared with me, that's kind of like what Lumberton Senior High has done. It's kind of reached out to them to kind of maybe adopt them as a high school, or if you kind of know what I'm talking about. But if everybody wants to be involved in all the high schools and for that one score or however. So I just want everybody to be a part of it and not leave nobody out.
Bobby Manning.
My question is to Mr. Grady. Mr. Grady, how far can we go legally?
How far can you,
How far can we go legally?
what do you mean?
he was talking about like collecting so many food. I mean, are we okay as a school system?
I think you can collect food and items and that kind of thing. And if I'd collect money, I'd make it payable to, that school district maybe. I don't know that we need to be running that through.
Craig?
Dr. Burnett mentioned this, and I'll look at Mr. Jerome too. We talk about bringing food items. The shootout starts tomorrow night in basketball. And I don't know if word could be, put out at the sites we've got.
Right.
That if people would bring canned food or bring some items there. And I don't know how feasible that would be, but you got games tomorrow night. I know at Sweat, I think St. Paul's and Lumberton. And you got different locations there. And I will tell you, Saturday night, it's at UNCP.
Yeah.
And that gym on the finals is usually pretty full. So if there's some way that could be coordinated to bring as far as food items or something like that, and then of course it had to be dispersed and somebody pick up, but you possibly, I think, maybe get a lot of items, and that would be real quick.
I know some of the PTOs are already talking about it, trying to do something also.
So, Mr. Chair, I think that this is a two-part conversation. I think the dollars, the funds that we raise, that we send down immediately to the school system to help them through, and then we organize for all the other dry goods and products that we send down in January. So I think this ends up, it gives us time to organize and plan it and collect and get it out. So again, I think it's we send that down now, and then sometime in January, we deliver. And that buys us time to organize and get it done.
Yeah.
That's a good plan. Dr. Main?
Mr. Superintendent, I have a recommendation. How about, let's think about Mr. Bobby and Mr. Burnett and maybe Miss Jennifer, somebody spearheading it, because you can't have a bunch of evenings and no chief. Now, you got to have somebody in charge of it. Because it sounds, I think Mr. Dwayne's idea is super and everybody else that contributed, but somebody's got to spearhead it. Because I can see having drop-off places, I can see having pennies for tornado victims, or I can see all that. But somebody's got to spearhead it, or it'll become total disorganized. And I think all the ideas are great.
Well, that would be Ms. Freeman. That's in her department. Services with counselors and social workers. So they're gonna work together, all three and some.
Dwayne?
One more thing, Mike, if canned goods or things are collected or whatever, I can get with somebody to where that stuff will be stored till the time is right. And I know I'm thinking far ahead, but once this right here got done, if we were able to get the Mount Air and the dry truck, it would be nice for people to come out for send-off for this. It would also be nice that, that if kids are at school and they're putting on, or maybe when they start unloading, that, it's not about us, but at least, hey, kids are involved. They understand the significance of this. And this is St. Paul's High, this is Fairmont. They're showing, they just need a lot of uplifting right now.
Can I ask one other question?
Sure.
Ms. Smith, did I understand you to say that you're planning to travel down to?
Yes, sir. Matter of fact, I'm going to be working, and I'm getting ready to put somebody on the spot, and I hope you don't mind if I do this right here, but I was looking at when the time came to, like I said, to maybe be able to see where things are dispersed and all that stuff, because I'm gonna go help disperse through some things if I can. And if anybody would like to join me in that, because I'm not gonna drive 14 hours there and 14 hours back, been there, done that one time. So, but I was going to talk with somebody that has a plane, that we could possibly get there, in a couple hours. And I'm just going to go ahead and say it. I was thinking if you wanted to go to, since you're the you know, so, and I was gonna call you and talk to you, and I'm not trying to put you on the spot. You don't have to give me an answer now, but just to be able to, if you kind of know what I'm talking about there. So kind of looking at maybe like a 2-day stay, you know, to try to, you know, see what we can try to do. And we don't want them to get 7 miles from there and be sitting there for 2 hours. So I've reached out to the sheriff, and he's gonna eventually reach out over there to kind of let them know. So that way it's, you know, so it'll be where it's able to get to it. That kind of makes sense there.
So I ask that question, that may be a means of delivering the money up front if you're gonna be there and connect with those board members. So from the public schools of Robertson County, you represent as a board member and deliver the funds, if that's gonna be the case. That's my reason for asking that.
I'll do whatever, if everybody, you know, would like for me to do or whatever, and you're more than welcome if I get something worked out, if you're not scared.
Just let me know, and that way I can get Glenn and he can do a broadcast, email or text or whatever, so everybody, just, so we all be on the same page, the same loop and know what's going on. Because we all know that when we had our big floods, like you said, a lot of people helped public schools in Robertson County, and not only just the public schools, they help Robertson County in general. And it's, yeah, so it's a good point on our point to reciprocate and show the love back to people that's in, this is a process, it's not a 2-day process or 3, this is gonna be 30 days, 60 days now. It's gonna take a while. People lost their whole homes and everything, so anything we do will be appreciated, I'm sure.
It's the true spirit of Christmas, right?
That's right.
Anything else?
Just one more comment. You need to give it, I'm gonna say bossy, but you need to give it a name, Operation Mayfield or something, and Spirit of Christmas, something. Give it a name so we can reference it when we talk.
Yeah,
I'm talking to that committee the superintendent just appointed.
okay.
Everybody, that thing won't go.
That's right. All righty.
Mike, I appreciate your time and letting me.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, thank you. Appreciate you, Jess. This time we'll move on to the agenda, the information items at 2022 NCAE Education Support Professional of the Year, Ms. Dee Grissom.
Chairman Smith, Dr. Williamson, and board members. It is my pleasure to be here before you this evening as the Robertson NCAE president to make this special presentation. First of all, education support professionals, also known as ESPs, are the backbone of our schools. They ensure that our schools are clean, and that our students are well fed, transport them to and from school, and give them the individual attention that they need in the classroom. Many of them live in the communities of the schools for which they work. They are represented by 9 career families: clerical services, custodial and maintenance services, food services, health and student services, paraeducators, security services, skilled trades, technical services, and transportation services. Each year, NCAE has an ESP of the Year award. All 115 public school units are encouraged to nominate an outstanding ESP in their respective district. The state winner will attend the NEA ESP National Conference, which will be held in March 2022 in New Orleans. The winner of the NEA ESP of the Year will win $10,000. I am proud to announce that the individual representing all ESPs across the entire state of North Carolina is from right here in Robertson County.
Yeah, that's all.
Mrs. Celestine Frazier has served as an instructional assistant at W.H. Knuckles Elementary School for 18 years. I will read a quote from one of her recommendations. While in her capacity as an instructional assistant, she has proven herself to be a leader among her peers and an ally to the students and their families. She has a great rapport with teachers and students. Some of her duties include monitoring students during whole group instruction, teaching students during small group instruction, assisting her teacher as needed, and other duties as assigned by the principal. Ms. Frazier is not shy about assisting the school community. She is an example of a true lifelong learner who engages students academically as well as meeting their needs for social and emotional learning. During her time at W.H. Knuckles Elementary, she has served as a member of the school improvement team, PBIS committee, parental involvement committee, and our NCAE rep. As the NCAE rep for Knuckles, she keeps staff abreast of local, state, and national information via the school bulletin board postings. She ensures timely distribution of information that is pertinent to their professional well-being. Most recently, she played a major role in recruitment and retention of members, on the school level by promoting NCAE to new and returning staff members at the beginning of the school year. In her community, she volunteers in her church where she continues her mission by serving as an instructor for summer camp programs. She is a people person and strives to encourage everyone she encounters with a positive word or kind deed. 3 words come to mind when you think of Ms. Frazier: dedicated, dependable, and reliable. I have with me 2 other NCAE staff officers, Ms. Peggy Locklear, who is our state ESP Region 6 Director, and Ms. Tammy Smith, who serves as the state ESP Secretary. And also here is her principal, Ms. Lisa Troy. Please join us in congratulating Ms. Celestine Frazier as the 2021-2022 NCAE ESP of the Year. Her plaque reads, "The North Carolina Association of Educators Education Support Professional Council honors Celestine Frazier as the 2021 NCAE ESP of the Year."
Coming, Dick. Beach.
John,
Caller.
trying to get everybody in the picture but me. I'm trying to get everybody in the picture but me. I'm like, where y'all at down there? Could have got back there with that wall. That's better. It was crying earlier.
Mr. Marty, she would always be my buddy when we would do workshops. Participate when the rest wouldn't. Love you.
Good evening. I would just like to say on behalf of the W.H. Knuckles faculty and staff, we would just like to thank Ms. Frazier for her dedication to the students and to the communities that we serve. She is truly a leader in our community, and we love and appreciate her. Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is the 2021 Holiday Card Series Artist Presentation by Ms. Andy Carter.
Excuse me, good evening, Dr. Smith, Dr. Williamson, board members, and our community out there. I can't believe, I was thinking about, I can't believe it's the 17th year that I presented the card winners, and this is actually Dr. Williamson. We're first year, he's been here. Last year, it was his first board meeting where he was here with us, and a lot has happened, and a lot of good things and a lot of great changes. And, out of change comes innovation. And we have really grown as far as arts education program and kind of continue that and embracing that. Because, we're performers, we produce things. And even though we can't have the kids here, presenting it this way actually has been really kind of awesome. Because for years, we printed the cards, we sat and we stuffed the cards in the envelopes and we mailed them out. And you got to see one card, the card that went to your school. And I think it's great that now, because of our situation, that now everybody gets to see all the cards. We have social media, and everybody in the community gets to see the cards, and everybody on staff gets to see all the cards. So I think that's really been a really positive thing about how change has really, been a very positive move. And so, I'm excited about that. Every year we have a lot of students who submit work. This year, last year was challenging. This year, we're still growing and we're still getting kids back into the swing of things. But we still had awesome entries, 89 entries this year. And every year it gets harder and harder to kind of cull those entries down to like a short list. So every year the list of cards grows and grows. And this year we selected 27 winners. We probably could have selected more, but I kind of figured that was a good number to stop at. And the designs were submitted electronically and they were selected. We made cards for the students like we always do, and they received a plaque. So tonight we're here to recognize them publicly and share their work with the community. The designs were selected based on the image and their expressive quality, the use of materials, and the technique that the students used. Sometimes you get a design and sometimes they really just kind of make you go, oh my goodness, this is so fabulous. I would buy that card, at the card store. So, I hope that when you see the cards that you will kind of get those same feelings that the committee did as well. I do want to kind of say that in spite of all the challenges that the district has had because of, COVID and the pandemic, arts education has faced those same struggles. We're rebuilding our programs along the way as everybody else is. But despite that, I'm very lucky to be the supervisor for some amazing art teachers who were still able to inspire kids to do the work and to come up with the designs that, we proudly put into this card series. And so I want to give a shout out to all the arts education teachers and the visual art teachers for their work and work with students. Because sometimes it was, a push to get kids to start thinking about Christmas so early. So thank you, all of you, for everything that you do every day for the students who participate in the arts education programs in our county. They do make a difference, they support the curriculum, and they make life a whole lot better, okay? At this time, we're going to present the 2021 Holiday Card Artist. We have 4 categories, and our first category is the 2 artists. And I'm going to call their name in as the slides go. Haley Mata is from East Robinson Primary. Iris Adams is her teacher. Dr. Lewis Cox is the principal. Nicole Casarubias, East Robinson Primary. Iris Adams teacher. Dr. Lewis Cox principal. Parker Carpenter, Parkton Elementary School, Chad Locklear teacher, Christy West principal. Anna Grace Willis, Roland Norman Elementary School, Allie Watts teacher, Dr. Joanna Cole principal. Evelyn Aro Saavedra, St. Paul's Elementary School, art teachers, Melinda Laughlin and James Hammonds, principal Billy Tyner. Alyssa Baker, Townsend Elementary School, substitute art teachers, Ms. Gail Jacobs, and Ms. Faye Wilkerson. Typo. Principal is Ms. Angela Faulkner. The 3-5 category artists, Elise Miranda Ventura, L. Gilbert Carroll Middle School, Melinda McCoy art teacher, Chris Burton principal. Hope Locklear, Pembroke Elementary School, Dana Dial, Joanna Hunt principal. Angeline Alvarez Perez, Peterson Elementary School, Topanga Bullard art teacher, Melissa Sellers principal. Madeline Hubbard, Prospect Elementary School, Leslie Woods Jacobs, art teacher, Avery Brooks, principal. Ashley Santos Rodriguez, St. Paul's Elementary School, Melinda Lauren and James Hammonds, art teachers, principal, Billy Tyner. Charlie Leviner, St. Paul's Elementary Schools, Melinda Lauren, James Hammonds, art teachers, Billy Tyner, principal. Yari Varello Garcia, St. Paul's Elementary School, Melinda Lauren, James Hammonds, art teachers, Billy Tyner, principal. In the 6-8 category, Ellis Vasea, Lumberton Junior High School, Alicia Haggins, art teacher, Dr. Savon Malsby, principal. Haley Britt, Orem Middle School, Crystal Bogenwright, art teacher, Anthony Britt, principal. Nathan Hammonds, Orem Middle School, Crystal Bogenwright, art teacher, Anthony Britt, principal. Brianna Jackson, Parkton Elementary School, Chad Locklear, art teacher, Christy West, principal. Jose Marin Garcia, Red Springs Middle School, Linda Los Manuso, art teacher, Cassandra Sumter, principal. Lejada James, South Robinson Intermediate, Hope Locklear, art teacher, Dr. Sherry Park, principal. Chloe Blackwell, St. Paul's Middle School, Candace Lambert, art teacher, Karen Brooks Floyd, principal. Evelyn Perez Gonzalez, St. Paul's Middle School, Candace Lambert, art teacher, Karen Brooks Floyd, principal. The 9-12 category, Victoria Reyes Hernandez, Early College High School, Jatan Jones, teacher, Dr. Chris Clark, principal. Samantha Connor, Fairmont High School, Krista Rachel, art teacher, Kent Prater, principal. Tanya Grissett, Fairmont High School, Stephen Taylor, art teacher, Prater, principal. San La Pile, Lumberton High School, Carrie Rebels, art teacher, Larry Brooks, principal. Cameron Graham, Purnell Sweat High School, Shantonia Bullard, art teacher, Clyde Leviner, principal. Rodrigo C. Soriano, St. Paul's High School, Kevin Locklear, art teacher, and Jason Suggs, principal. Let's give them all a round of applause. And I do want to say that even though we have positions, visual art positions that have had substitutes all year, I am very proud to tell you that the substitutes are doing an amazing job. And we had a set of substitutes who worked in Townsend, and they had a great little part. So, I wanted to thank the substitutes who have stepped in and are doing the work in the education class, because it's not the easiest. So, thank you. Yes, Dr. May.
I just want to say that I want to commend you for what you talked about change when you started your presentation. I want to talk about your change. You came in from the school looking like Halle Berry to the Pix haircut, and now you look like Jennifer Lopez. So you talk about change, you've gone through change, and you continually fought for the arts, and you've had periods where administration didn't want to fund the arts or wanted to slim it down to it barely existed, but you're at a place now with the arts, with this current leadership, where it's been funded and it's been respected, and we really appreciate what you've done. And for some reason, and you and I have talked about this, there is talent in the Robeson County. musical, artistic, and you've seen that tonight. So we appreciate everything you and your staff, that what you do for our children. Thank you so
I
much.
appreciate that.
I'd just like to add to that,
Go ahead.
we all know we've been experiencing a tough time. It's great to see the joy in all this and know that the students had joy. Out of their joy came these creations, and that's just outstanding.
And yesterday, Dr. Robert and I spent the day together. We were Lumberton High School, their theater, dance, and chorus department had their outside Christmas concert at the Plaza. So they, arranged it with the city, with Bruce Davis and Wayne Horn. And it's just fantastic to go see students perform. Because if you think about all the things that go into a performance, I can't wait till we get back to theater with our littlest kids, because to me, I would love to see theater in the elementary schools because it does so much. You're talking about skill building, reading, interpreting, inferencing, collaborative. I mean, it really does it all. And when you see students who have struggled with a lot of different things over the course of several years in our community, to see that they are still willing to put in that work and to create things that, are very expressive. They did a piece that was by Celine Dion that comes out of the fire, out of the ashes. I think it was out of the ashes, something about out of the ashes comes fire. But, it was beautiful, and we have amazing students in our county who have just done amazing things. And, you can't tell me that because this is Robinson County that my students aren't any better than any student from any other place, because they are. And I will, and until I leave and retire, I will be the promoter and the advocate and the cheerleader for all those teachers and all these students, because they deserve it. And they deserve the best that we can give them, because they are our community's future. And, they might grow up like me and be an art supervisor or an artist, they're out there. So, I want to make sure that we all support that,
Thank
Chairman, if I may.
Thank
Let me say this right.
all of y'all support, because,
You're fine.
for 17 years, I have been up here telling you about that. And for 17 years, even though the chairs have changed, not a lot, but you all have always been very supportive of our students. And that's why they're so great,
Let me say this right quick, Brendan, I'll yield to you. But I talked to Sandy earlier. Sandy and I, we go way back too, and I appreciate what she does for the public schools of Robinson County. Mr. Gentry had called me earlier last week or sometime. This time of year, a lot of communities are having Christmas parades. I mean, they have one in Max and St. Paul's and Red Springs. And you see like the county commissioners riding on a float, and you see town government. It would be nice if we had, the public schools of Roberts County had our own float, primarily for Christmas. I mean, you could have one for whatever, but theme being Christmas, and get the arts department to help build one, and we could store it maybe down at the bus garage or somewhere where we could pull it out and we could participate at that time of the season, bring kids along or whatever. But I think it'd be great if somebody could find us a trailer. Randy, a lot of people that, whoever, somebody that's got a farms, and we could get a trailer from that we could buy or they'd donate or whatever. But I think it'd be great if we had our own Christmas.
You get the trailer and we'll make it shine.
All right.
Mr. Chairman.
But anyway, I wish you all happy.
Wait just a minute. Brenda had her hand up.
Mr. Chairman, Miss Sandy, I travel the arts across the states looking at them, and you're standing up there tonight with the light bulbs on. It would be good, and I love it. It would be good because of them losing so much in Kentucky. They don't have the Christmas lights and everything. If Miss Sandy could also do a necklace like that and send it with Dwayne them, because they was talking on television how a lot of them would not have that this time. And that will really send a glow out to me, because I love to do it better at Christmas time than ride by the houses and see the decorations that's on the outside and inside. So I think that would be really neat, but you look beautiful tonight.
Craig.
Dwayne, some people said this, but I've known Ms. Carter too for 17 plus years. So if any school in this county that needs something in art, music, just anything in those arts, She's always been there 1,000%.
Right.
If you had programs and stuff, she just always supported it, and, not in this position, but I always appreciate it.
Anybody else? Sandy, appreciate it.
Happy holidays.
Merry Christmas. Next item on the agenda is K-12 online holiday enrichment activities. Dr. Robert Locklear.
It's hard to follow Jennifer Lopez, but I'll do my best. I do want to say thank you for all that you do. I get to work with Sandy every day, and yesterday we were rocking around the Christmas tree at the plaza together. But she goes the extra mile to make sure our kids have everything they need, so we appreciate it. In November, we've done a Thanksgiving activities for our students, since they were able to take their devices home. Dr. Williamson has allowed us to make sure they take them home for Christmas. So over the next 2 weeks, while they're out enjoying the holidays, we have also prepared some wonderful activities because parents want to know, Dr. Manuel, what do you have for my kids to do during the holiday break? So we get the calls through the curriculum department. So we have put together some wonderful activities from kindergarten all the way to 12th grade in ELA reading, mathematics, science, social studies, and of course, to say in his favor, the arts. So you have those in your packets. I'll take any questions that you may have at this time.
Does everyone understand this is going out from the schools, right?
Yes.
They understand whoever's passing it out, assuming this is totally optional.
Yes, that is.
No requirement that this has got to be done. If you want to do it, you can do it.
And we've already met with the principal.
Okay.
And it's going to be, I think it was downloaded on our site today, Dr. Burnett, at 5 o'clock.
It's on our site and every school website, on our sites as well.
And we've asked the principals to make sure the teachers upload it to their Canvas assignment, so it's going to be in several locations. So it'll be readily available for all students.
If they want to do it.
If they want.
There you go. Okay.
It's not required.
Dr. Robert, I see the hot chocolate science comes up on every page. Is somewhere we can go to sample this?
Absolutely. Yes. We'll make sure we get addresses for you, but I'm pretty sure a lot of our students are making hot chocolate because that's one of our favorite activities, and that's why it was put on there. So we want to thank our curriculum supervisors, Ms. Kelsey Cummins for putting the document together, and Ms. Sandra Franco Lopez for translating it in Spanish. So it will be in English and Spanish, one version.
Mr. Chairman.
Brandon?
Dr. Locklear, I would just love to thank everyone that was involved in putting this together because I did take a good look at it. I don't know what Scotland County is going to be offering my granddaughter, but she's also looked at this too, okay? And she loves it because I think the kids need to have something beyond just the regular game, TikTok, and all the other stuff. But this is really very good, very educational, and it got me excited. Thank each of you for all that you do for the students and staff of the public schools of Austin County.
Especially for those rainy days, we get snow, those snowy days, activities to do.
Comments, questions? Thank you, Dr. Robert.
And happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
Next item on the agenda is the FEMA update, Hugh McElwain and Attorney Grady Hunt.
Good evening, Superintendent, Mr. Chairman, board members. I wish I really did have an update to you, but there is none this time. All the information was turned in to FEMA on October 8th by the North Carolina Emergency Management. So we're just waiting to hear from FEMA if they are requesting any additional information. They have 90 days to respond, and these will be business days, not calendar days. If we have not heard anything, and if we do hear from them within the first 90 days for additional information, the 90-day clock resets when we turn it in to them. So then they have an additional 90 days. So it could get drug out, hopefully not. If we have not heard anything within the first 180 days, we then have the option to request the case be sent to arbitration. Right now, we're just hoping that if 90 days comes, they award us our funding and we can move forward. And we're hoping somewhere around late February, maybe 1st of March.
Thank you, Grady.
That's a very optimistic view from Hugh.
Yeah.
Well, I agree 100% because we expending quite a few dollars to get some kind of results. How much have we expended, Erica?
It's in excess of 40,000. I can't have you an exact number.
That's close enough. I just need I hope that the people, I know we got good results of that, lawyers out of Washington, but, the 180 days pass and we don't get any type of response and we go to arbitration, but
One of the biggest things, if I may just
Go ahead.
say, the reason for the lawsuit is the difference between the $5 million and the 80+ million. So 40,000 plus is well spent to get that number where it needs to be.
yeah. Be well spent if we get,
80 million.
yeah, go ahead, Craig.
It's back in the 80s.
Yeah.
Just a quick question okay, Mr. Yu, it was turned in October the 8th. Is that when it was?
That's when North Carolina Emergency Management.
They turned it over.
FEMA, and they did acknowledge their receipt of.
My question is, with where we're at from then to now, and if it goes on into January, are we having expenses from that law firm? Are we being charged anything now? No, that's clear, okay. Okay.
We would
Not
only-
unless we call.
Right. We would only be charged if we initiate it or if there is some request from FEMA that requires action.
More
on their
work.
part.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other comments, questions? Anybody? Thank you, Hugh.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Gray. Next item on the agenda is RB Dean update. Mr. Ernie Hammonds and who McElwain again?
So good evening again. Just to let you know from the standpoint of, I'll let Mr. Hammonds if you have any questions on the construction side, but when the fire took place, insurance came in, and like we originally said, they would pay for the demo. They have. The demolition alone and the cleanup work was a little over $256,000. They did reimburse us back 100%. It included the boiler was not touched or harmed from the fire, so we were able to salvage that for use at another location. They reimbursed us back for that relocation. They also gave us a cash value of the building lost. That cash value came in at 1.6 million. They have paid that so far, and then minus out our $5,000 deductible, we have received $1.8 million from insurance. Now, remind you of that, about $265,000 of that was reimbursement. So free and clear was the 1.6 million for the actual cash value. There had to be, the gym, the building and the office were connected to the gym building. That has been demoed. So we had to redo some wiring and electrical work there. That has been completed now, I believe. We're having a contractor there now to redo the front entrance of the gym because it was inside the building. Now we have to weatherize it, I should say, put exterior doors, canopy, make sure the cement slab has proper slope so water don't flow back in. That bid, they were low bid, that's gonna come in around $56,000. He is currently in the process of that. Insurance will reimburse us back for the expenses. And I'm waiting to hear back from insurance, and we just got the proposal today from the engineer. The bathrooms that were used for the gym building were located across from the front entrance of the gym on the main school side. There is a shower and bathroom area at the back of the gym, but it's not usable and in very bad shape. And they didn't see it far-fetched to go ahead and upgrade the bathroom at the back of the gym since we lost the bathrooms from inside the building. So I'm just waiting to hear back from him to give the go-ahead on the proposal we received from a contractor today.
Okay. You have any comments, Mr. Ernie?
He covered it well.
Okay,
Go ahead.
I'm not construction, but I just need my understanding. So part of the building burned, I saw that, right? That part burned, you got reimbursed with insurance for it, right?
Yes.
Okay, there was a part left standing. Is that correct? Right?
The rest of us, yes.
Now, So you're having to go repair the part standing, right?
The gym building,
Yeah.
yes. There was no fire damage to the gym. There was water damage from from the firefighters trying to put the fire out, and smoke damage. And because the electrical and all the infrastructure were connected.
Yes, sir.
We had to disconnect those services to demolish the burned area. Those are having to be put back in place.
Maybe somebody can, now my third part is, and I have no reservations about it, I'm just saying it for my understanding. What's gonna happen to the building when you fix it? Do we know that yet, Ms. Furby, somebody?
We're currently using it now for storage at RBD. We did have Green Grove is partial storage, but I think another entity is kind of using that now. So our overflow storage is now currently being taken care of by RBD gymnasium. So we're actually using the building.
But ultimately, it's gonna be a community building. Am I correct in that?
Whatever the pleasure of the board to see.
I know there's been discussion about that.
Yes, so the gym will be available for community use. That's our intent.
And we did not want to get rid of it. We wanted to make certain that we kept what we got, because we don't know what we're gonna need.
Any other comments or questions? Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Merry Christmas.
At this point, we'll move to the action items, resolution to support Leandro, Dr. Freddie Williams.
Mr. Chair, Madam Vice Chair, members, hope you're doing well. Just appreciate all the I'm really just touched by the effort to support brothers and sisters. It's really just powerful. You do have in your board package, information for every child in the city. They're making a request that we support a resolution in support of Leandro's remedial plan. And he did provide for you a copy of that plan so that you can have it to read through at some point in time. We're not read the resolution to you, you've had it, but it is urgent that the state to fulfill its constitutional duty to provide every child access to a sound basic education. And so again, Mr. Chairman and members, I'm requesting that we do approve and support this resolution in support of Leandro's remedial plan, that timeline and the funding, please.
Of approval, Mr.
So move, Mr. Chair.
Have a motion by Brenda, second by Mr. Gentry. Now, question.
My question is, and I'm certainly gonna vote to approve, but my question is, our strategic plan, do we need to update our plan to reflect this resolution? Because I looked at it and I can see where there's some holes in our strategic plan. So what do you think about that?
Our intent is to start work on updated strategic plan in the fall because it will reflect our PD now, leadership academy from TSL. Leverage leadership, some of our data, we hope to have a clear baseline. So down to the question, yes, we've had that, we're making plans, and we'll start that work probably in August, so it will reflect that.
Yeah.
As you know, now, all of this is on hold in terms of funding. Maybe we'll have some type of resolution at that time. But to answer your question, yes.
Thank you.
We had a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passed. Next item on the agenda is face covering covering policy.
Thank
Dr. Freddie Williams.
Chairman and members, we do have at your site our weekly tracking tool that provide data in terms of what's happening in the buildings. This is for the week of December the 3rd through the 5th. You can see we have staff, the exposure for that week was 13. COVID positive, 22. Among our students, exposure was 324, isn't it? 324, and then positive was 61. So we think we're seeing the Thanksgiving surge show up in our buildings. As of yesterday, the 13th vaccination rate for the county is 37%, well below what the state is testing. So with that data and this information, understanding the Thanksgiving surge and then what's going to happen at Christmas, I am requesting that we continue to enforce our policy 4231, 5021, 7263, option A, which says mask, mandatory to wear masks in the building and on the buses, optional outside. So I'm asking we continue that policy.
Wait a minute. Dwayne?
Winston, I've had some people kind of speak about this right here. Wearing the mask, and I think having also the plastic shields right there. If we're pretty much, we're 6 feet away, how effective do you think we are with and I know you're not a doctor, but I'm just hearing a lot from everybody in general that it's like, okay, we're wearing masks, so what exactly is, in other words, what's the chances of removing the shields? Or could you lay out a pro and con effort on that? Not trying to put you on the spot.
Right. Well, part of the intent on the shield is students do have mask breaks during the day they're dropping their masks, and we want that continued protection with the shields. I understand that some kids say they can't see over the shields. We researched that. In every case where those shields have darkened some, it's because somebody used the wrong product trying to clean the shield. Bob, you might want to add more to that.
Right, if I may, and so in all of those situations, we have the shields readily available to replace anything that is damaged or discolored in the school buildings at this point. And also to add to that, with 100% capacity, we do have situations where kids are not in every classroom 6 feet apart. So we have situations where students are closer than 6 feet. In some cases, they're sitting side by side just because of the enrollment in the classroom and the size of the classroom.
And one more question, if I may, do you think we have to end up reaching a certain percentage before masks won't be used anymore? What is your?
I do. I think that the vaccination rate is a major determinant for us as to when we enter into that conversation that we can make masks optional in buildings. Again, I think we need to get through the Christmas holiday season and brace for that surge. But I think if we can get that overall rate up, then that would be something that we can consider at that point in time.
Because I think a lot of, as far as, kids or whoever, if they end up getting COVID or whatever, and they're in school, they're not getting it at school. Because when these kids go home and quarantine for 14 days, how can I say this from being from the South? They ain't staying at home. They at Lowe's, they at Walmart, they everywhere but home. And I think that's a big problem right there, to where they kind of need to be home so that way we can eventually get this stuff under control to be able to move masks and things of that sort. It's just.
Randy?
Dr. Williamson, my comment on it is that I've had some phone calls. I think a couple of them has talked to Mr. Bobby. And my only thing is that you got option A, option B, option C. We've only had the option A. That's where we've been. Other counties are, optional. Not option A or B, it's optional. I know South Carolina is, dealing is. And my thing is, the parents are saying now that it's their right whether their child wears it or doesn't wear it. And, you know, from here on out, I feel like I need to let them make that decision. I'm sitting up here on the board and I know what's effective for everybody. I still have to wear one at work. But in saying that, as a parent, and I understand we've got the holidays coming and last year it rose, but I did tell them, the ones that I talked to, I don't like wearing a mask more than the next person, but I have to at my job. But I do feel like that part of it is an option for the parents. It's an option whether they get vaccinated. One of the other things is that being that it's optional or not optional, is that, you know, on the bus, but at home they're not wearing it. Lots of times when they go out in public, they're not wearing it. And we turn around and my thing to them was option A, option B. They said it was the local board's decision. This is the part I want to get out there, okay? These are options that were in the mandate that was sent down to us. Am I correct, Mr. Grady? But it's our option or due diligence to check one, A, B, or C. But they don't tell them that in Raleigh and state senators and things like that. House of Representatives, they're not telling them, well, we've got things in place, but there's an option A, B, and C. But it's the local board's decision. Do you understand what I'm saying? They leave that part out and say, oh, it's your local board's decision. It's not, we've got options here, you know, and my thing is that if option B is less mask, that's what I'm voting for. But I won't be voting for option A tonight.
I understand that, and our obligation is to make two you as board members the best recommendation we can based on the data.
Right.
Appreciate that. A lot of those other school systems that's making an option, those counties' vaccination rate, done that research, and that's why they're taking that particular step. Based on the data, Bob, I think we have, 3 clusters now? We have not had a cluster.
Correct.
Probably for a month and a half.
That is correct.
Now we have 3 clusters in our buildings, and so all of that data says that, and Superintendent, my best recommendation is that we continue with option A. But you're absolutely correct.
And Mr. Chairman, if I may,
Hey, Brandon.
a lot of those school districts that did leave it up to that, they're now going virtual because the numbers are so high. And one of the things that I have to remember is that students has to be in an atmosphere that's conducive for them to learn. And right now, some of them, and not only the students, the staff, we got to look out for the best interests of both of them because it's hard to get staff. And I love parents wanting to have that decision, but from my standpoint, I have to look out for what I believe to be the best interest for our students and staff.
Brandon?
One more thing, Dr. Williamson, and I'm just asking this because this was shared with me. And Mr. Jerome, so I can include this, in athletic events in our county, is there anything posted that says optional mask? Because I've been told that there's ball games and everybody's not wearing a mask.
Some people not.
So if they don't have to wear them, my thing is if they're not wearing them ball games and athletic events, then, you know, the same students are sitting here in school. So if they go to the ball game, they could get it at the ball game. So, you know.
To answer your question, no, that what we're saying for indoor athletic events is that they do wear masks. Jerome, has anything changed?
No, sir, nothing's changed on that. I mean, that most of the time the PA announcers announce.
Right.
Masks are required inside the gym, but, I mean, don't get me wrong, there still are some folks that are sitting up the top of the bleachers that do not have masks on. But we do have signs that say masks are required.
As soon as the data, I'm sorry.
is it appropriate for me to ask about a school? I mean, do you rather me ask you personally?
Say that again, Dr. May?
I said, is it appropriate on your report here?
Yes, I think so, if it's on the.
No,
Yes, action item.
Pardon?
I said it's in discussion of an action item, so it's public information, you can,
You're fine, go ahead.
Okay, I'm wondering about Piney Grove, and I know about the instance there. I'm just concerned about that number. And maybe Bobby could answer this. Is it, you see, Bobby, that it's getting better? You see those numbers out of kilter there with exposure?
Go ahead.
We only track these numbers once a week, do it every Friday. So what you're seeing at Piney Grove refers back to what Dr. Williamson said earlier, in that it being a cluster. And we define a cluster as if we can link 5 or more cases together in one setting. And so with that particular number, you see there, it was an entire grade level that was affected by the positivity of one, where it had to be 5 or more individuals. I think it ended up being, if I'm not mistaken, 7 individuals in one grade level that ended up tested positive.
But it's too confidential, I won't tell you. I'll tell you then, you and the superintendent.
Any other comments?
If I may, sir.
Yeah.
Update us on sanitizing and disinfecting our buildings, that's still.
So our policy is still in effect. Our custodians are daily sanitizing throughout the buildings, using our backpack sprayers and everything. So we still have our safety measures in place. We haven't stopped any of that.
and our ventilation, I'm sorry.
Wayne had his hand up, didn't Wayne didn't ring.
Ventilation's going okay as far as setting those up in the classrooms? I hope that's okay to ask.
Yeah.
Air purifier things. Talking about the purifier things?
Yes, sir, I'm sorry, the purified, I'm sorry.
So as of the end of today, we had gotten through, if I'm not mistaken, approximately 20 of our schools. So we've wrapped back around and coming back around to our Pembroke schools. And if you hold 1 second, I can give you. But I do have a spreadsheet and I can share that information with you as far as where we're at. We're well into, we have completed 20 schools at this point.
So in other words, everything's running smooth, no
Yeah.
hiccups on
No.
getting them in and.
No, we should be averaging at least 180 a week. I haven't heard anything that says we're way below that or way above that.
Right, okay, thanks.
And when we're in buildings, we're asking the questions, can you tell the difference? And the responses are, yes, we think the air quality is better. And so we're believing that to be true.
Randy had your hand up. Was that part of that?
Yeah, that was part of it.
You good?
Yes, sir.
Craig, you had your hand up?
Yes, I only had one phone call concerning this, but part of my response is, our vaccination rate still bothers me as far as how low we are. And I agree, Dwayne, when they go to whatever store, people aren't wearing masks. I've been to the ball games, some's got them on, some's not got them on. But now I'm still of the opinion that at school, we need to work as far as trying to keep them, teachers and students, as safe as possible. And until some things would change, I still support wearing a mask at school. And I think some people, they don't realize, outside, they don't have to wear a mask. Is that correct?
It's optional.
I had a conversation the other day and the person said, well, they're wearing the mask all day at school. They can't never take them off. And now, this was last week. I said, I don't know what information you get. And I said, but if kids go outside or when they're eating, and I said, they have breaks. I said, it's not all day long. And we got to talking in the vaccination thing, you know, the small children right now are not going to get a vaccination unless some things change. And again, what happened at Thanksgiving with these numbers, we don't know it's going to happen at Christmas, but I really don't think it's going to get any better when we go through Christmas. Now, looking at this thing February or March, somewhere down the road and seeing what numbers, maybe our vaccinations will get some more. But if the numbers drop in, you know, we could look at some of the options like other people are doing, but Some of these places that I've seen that are making masks optional, their vaccination rates is 70, 80, or 90%, a lot higher than what ours is. And I mean, 37%, we've gone up, but that's still low.
Any other comments or questions?
Can I add one other?
Sure.
With the indoor sports and our kill time on our disinfectant is what, 24 hours? Help me remember.
It's actually less than that on the disinfectant we've got now. What Mr. Mercer ordered the last time is less than a minute.
No, I'm talking about the duration of it, that it.
Oh,
Effectiveness.
Yes.
24 hours.
Yes, 24 hours. I'm sorry.
And so, to that point, we've had that conversation of our ball game folks, some not, but we're falling back on that. We treat and we have 24 hours kill time on that. That makes precedence though. And again, as soon as our data changes and we see improvement, I'm going to be in front of you asking to make it optional. Until our data change, again, the request is that we continue policies.
All right, we have a recommendation.
So who was the chairman?
Second.
Have a motion by Brenda, second by Henry. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
No.
No is Randy and Dwayne. Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Merry Christmas, Happy New Year.
Merry Christmas.
Next item on the agenda is the policy update, section 8,000 and 9,000. Mr. William Gentry.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The policy committee meeting met yesterday and to consider the 8,000, 9,000 policy series. And this was very much weighted in the financial aspect, and we were very blessed to have Miss Erica there to keep us on track with all of that, and we appreciate that. And you have in your packet the changes or additions that were made, and I'm not sure who did this, Bobby. Thank you, sir. So at this time, I move that board approve the 8,000, 9,000 policy series as edited.
Second.
Have a motion by Mr. Gentry, a second by Dr. Emmanuel. Other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. Thank you, Mr. Gentry. Next item on the agenda is approval of naming soccer field at Lumberton Senior High School. Mr. Jerome Hunt.
Good evening, Chairman Smith, Superintendent Dr. Williamson, board members. At our last board meeting on November 9th, Mr. Dwayne Smith and I presented to the board to change the name of the soccer field at Lumberton High School with current coach Kenny Simmons. And he'll only be the current coach for 3 more days. He's retiring Friday. Friday will be his last day. We were told at that time we needed to have a public forum, which we did. We had it virtually on November 30th. And we had that with the help of Mr. Cole Wilkins and Dr. Burnett. The forum was all positive. Mr. Craig was on it. Mr. Dwayne was on it. But everything from the forum was positive. Just a little bit on Kenny. He's been a soccer coach at Lumberton High School for 28 years for the boys, 27 for the girls, with over 600 wins. The program has combined for 12 conference championships, numerous state playoff appearances. During his tenure, he's coached hundreds of all-conference and all-region players, 10 all-state players, 1 All-American. 2009, he was selected to coach in the North Carolina Coaches Association's East-West All-Star Game. He's been named Conference Coach of the Year 11 times, Regional Coach of the Year 6 times. He's a physical education teacher at Gilbert Carroll Middle School for 28 years, where he's enriched the lives of thousands of students. He's actively served the community through his involvement with the Lumberton River Soccer Association, Lumberton Indoor Soccer League, Total Control Soccer Camps. In 1995, he founded a recreational league that grew from 125 participants to over 800 participants in a span of 4 years. Over time, the Lumber River Soccer Association became the primary feeder program for the soccer teams at Lumberton High School and has been instrumental in its success. In 2010, he oversaw the construction, layout, and development of the current soccer field at Lumberton High School. The field was initially used for practices before becoming a permanent game field in 2013. Today, the facility is considered by many as one of the best soccer specific fields in the state. So tonight, I would like to ask the board to make a recommendation to name the soccer field at Lumberton High School Kenneth W. Simmons Soccer Facility.
Like the motion,
Wait,
before you do what you need to do.
wait a minute now. I just want to make clear, he said I want to change the name. What's the name now?
Ain't none
For
there.
the talking.
Have a name.
It's just named Lumberton Soccer.
Okay, just,
Don't have a name.
you might need to correct it. What you said change the name, and I thought maybe it was like
No, it don't.
Mr. Smith name, and Mr. Smith would get mad.
No. Right now, it's just Lumberton.
Just say name it, okay?
Go ahead, Dwayne.
Okay, I would like to, make the motion to, name it, because that's what you'd come up with, the Kenny Simmons, is that correct? Soccer?
So
Okay,
we just think that sounds professional.
okay.
And that came from a young lady in the room here.
Okay.
Well,
I agree with you.
Second.
Who's second? Vontae? Motion made by Dwayne, second by Vontae to name the Lumberton soccer field after Kenneth W. Simmons. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passed. Thank you.
And if I could, Chairman, before I sit down, I know Mr. Craig mentioned earlier, the Robeson County Shootout starts tomorrow night. It'll run through Saturday at UNCP. You've got brackets on your table along with 2 passes. Come out and enjoy some good basketball. Merry Christmas.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda is the Rosenwald gym floor. Mr. Bobby Locklear.
Chairman Smith, Superintendent Williamson, board members, wanted to bring to your attention, it's a slight oversight on our part. Back in the Hurricane Florence, the Rosenwald gym floor was damaged. We were not made aware of that until after some time had lapsed. So we're bringing it to your attention today for us to go ahead and move forward in getting a new gym floor installed at Rosenwald. My understanding it's been over 2 years since the students there have been able to use that gym because we've had to go in and tear up the floor due to some water damage.
Mr. Chairman, if I may, it wasn't where our staff had actually stopped everything, they just had to keep on doing the same thing over and over. So I do like this, say so move on this recommendation tonight.
Vontae.
Yes, wonder what caused the water damage? Was it the roof? Was it, what caused the water damage?
My understanding, it was at the back door. There's a low area in the back door that actually faces the school. It's a double door there, and the water came in at that back door.
Follow up?
Follow up, yeah, go ahead.
Yes. Have that been fixed? Have we did something to brush the water away for the water can go somewhere else?
Right, so right now, again, we haven't done any work to the gym, so one of the options we're discussing is to go in and brick up that door as a possibility, but also to move additional earth around it so that it's not in the low area anymore.
And one of the things, Mr.
Hey, just a minute, Beth.
I was gonna answer what he just asked.
Well, Henry had his hand up. And I'll come back to you, okay?
Do we have confirmation for the funding for that project?
Yes.
How much is the price?
Right now, we have, it's gonna be a ballpark of anywhere between 80 and 90,000 is what we're anticipating.
All right, Brendan.
And Mr. Chairman, Mr. Hammers, you can, quantify what I'm getting ready to say. We've been working on this for some time, and each time the water will come in from the lower portion where they end up digging that drench at.
Yes.
And where it was high in soil, so they did move some sand and other things in to try to prohibit. One time it was leaking in the gym, they took care of that roof and everything. This time it was the back door and other things that took place, and from my understanding, Mr. Hammers, that's been taken care of, correct?
She just.
Can't hear you.
The underlying area in the back door, had that been taken care of?
Yeah, we did that right after that. And what it was the excessive rain. You remember
Right.
Florence?
Right.
We had excess rain. And through that whole area, there is a storm drain system, but it's farther away from that building. That highway, when they put it through there, that made that part lower.
Why?
In the town of Fremont.
I don't understand the time frame though, and it's irrelevant, needs to be fixed, but I don't see the principal or an AD or whoever out there, how come it has waited so long to become an issue?
Well, the town of Fremont did their part, had to do their part, they did take care of their portion. Because like you said, by paving that through there and there was a drainage problem.
Yeah.
And the town took care of that.
If I may,
Let me, Craig had his hand up, go ahead.
I just make sure as far as if it's roof, if it's back door, whatever it is, that all leaks are taken care of before we do any flooring work. And then which I definitely think, it needs to be fixed. Other question, the floor there, and I've been, but I can't remember, is that one of the synthetic floors or is that a wooden floor?
At the current moment, there is no floor there. It was a tile floor and that has now been taken up.
Well,
Cement, it's a cement.
I know it's elementary school, so what type of floor would we be looking at
We
putting?
are currently exploring two different options. One would go back with kind of a wood floor that's kind of heat melted to the ground. So if it gets wet again, we don't have that issue. And we've also in discussion about a possible rubber floor, but which
Synthetic, okay.
You have a question?
He mentioned it's like the one at the IEA said.
Same thing Mr. Craig was saying. I just want to.
Okay.
And it's,
Simpson,
so,
I was just gonna follow, if, being elementary, synthetic might be the appropriate way to go and then not having to worry about the giving as much and the upkeep, in the fact that it is elementary. But again, we've had this in some situations before anything is done to that floor. Please, let's make sure all leaks, wherever they are, and I'm sure you will, are taken care of.
High water,
Flood, not a leak.
Well,
flood area.
whatever the
Flood.
Dr. Williamson got the floor.
so I was out the other day and my intent is to break that door up, so the kids will have to, and then to your question, we need to be transparent. And I want apology to Rosenwald, it's taken us 2 years. Part of the cause is we missed it on our insurance in terms of what was turned in. So we can be honest about that. It's on our part. And as soon as we realize that, then that's why we have it in front of you. The other part of that is the fund source. We're going to use some of the RBD money, correct, that we can pay for that. But I do apologize to that community and school that is taking us 2 years to address that.
Good deal.
Any other comments? Do we have a motion and a second?
Mr. Chairman.
Uh,
I said move approval.
Second.
Motion made by Brandon, second by Craig. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed.
Thank you and Merry Christmas.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is sole source spender, Paulette, Erica.
Superintendent Dr. Williamson and board members, let me start by saying Merry Christmas to everyone, Happy New Year, Happy Holidays. I hope everyone truly enjoys the time and remembers the reason for the season. The sole source vendor, Paulette, is included in the board packet, and I can answer any questions anybody has about that particular information. That's for our media.
Move to approve, Mr. Chair.
Second.
Comment, or you gonna make the motion, Dwayne?
I was gonna make the motion, but there,
Got beat.
Well, that's a good, I noticed.
Have a
hey, it's all good, I love it.
motion made by Linda, who's the second? Mr. Gentry? Now, Henry, did you have a question?
I was just gonna say, is that we just didn't have but one source that even bidded on this?
Now, I'm bringing it forward to you because we can't get bids because it's the only one that can provide this service.
Yeah.
That's why I'm bringing it to the board.
Okay, that was my question.
All right, we had a motion and second. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. Next item on the agenda is the monthly financial report. Erica?
Motion to approve.
Second.
And a motion by Dwayne, second by Randy. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. Item on the agenda is fundraisers. Ms. Erica?
Motion to approve.
I got a question about,
Let me get a second. Second, who second?
Second.
John second. Motion by Dwayne, second by John. Now question.
okay. Christmas catalog shopping, has that already been done? Or is that items, fundraising items?
I'll check with the school and see, but they probably started part of it. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
But we still rather present it and not than it occur, even if the timing.
Okay.
Mr. Erica, all of the requests did meet the recommendations of the board, right?
Ma'am, I'm sorry.
Did they all meet the qualifications of the board policy?
Okay.
Any other comments?
Call for the question.
A motion second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. Thank you.
Motion to go in closed session.
You ready?
Man, his job, man.
Well, yeah, he's trying.
I'm gonna make the motion so he'd be ready.
I move that the Board of Education for the Public Schools of Robinson County go into closed session for the purpose of discussing certified and classified personnel, North Carolina General Statute 143-318, A1 and 6, and to consult with the attorney retained by the board just to preserve the attorney-client privilege between the attorney and the Board of Education for Public Schools of Robinson County, North Carolina General Statute 143-18.11, A1 and 3.
Second.
Got a motion by Randy, second by Brenda. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Mr. Gentry. Second by Craig. Motion by Mr. Gentry, second by Craig. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passed.
Move approval of closed session minutes, Mr. Chairman.
Motion by Brenda, second by Randy for approval of closed session minute. Further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed.
Approval of personnel as presented,
As what?
presented,
As presented.
Amended.
as presented,
Needs to be amended.
as amended, that's right, as amended.
Second.
Have a motion by Brenda, second by Randy to approve personnel as amended.
Correct.
Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passed. Mr. Burnett, Glenn?
Yes.
Let-
Doubt, I did talk to the Board of Education in Mayfield, their chairperson. So those donations that we give, they'll go directly to the students and their families, no red tape, no percentages off the top. If a student and their family walked in and needed, a rental car, needed a hotel, they give them that money on the spot. So our donations are going to good use.
Awesome.
Thank you for that.
Got it right.
You also on that donation, or I know anybody can go back to emailing it, and all those other necessities that they said they need is in that email.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Anything else? Jerome mind everybody about the shootout starting tomorrow night.
Yes, I want to ask, Dr. Williams, where we at in the process of, putting the updated technology on our school?
Cameras, videos.
Yes.
Erica and I, we've had that conversation. That's going, part of the new budget in the new year. So we're getting, cost price on all that, but that's our intent to move that. So it will happen. Thank you, sir.
Any other questions, comments?
I'd just like to say Merry Christmas to everybody if I don't see you before Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, you too. Merry Christmas, everybody.
And Happy New Year.
Have a good one. Anything else, Dr. Williams? A motion to adjourn.
So move.
Second. Brendan, second by Henry. Adjourn, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Thank you.
Very good.